Yo, 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 what's up, guys? I am wearing my thermal jacket. I had a case of water in my truck, which is like frozen. I ran out of water, so I grabbed it, and there's like frost on the ground. It's like, oh my God, it's cold. It's like 20 degrees right now. It almost never gets this cold in Texas, so this is my daily content. We're following the Alex Hormozy strategy, 100 minutes of content. I don't spend 100 minutes making content, Jesus. I could talk for hours. I had a podcast that I made on this app called Anchor a while ago. I think Spotify bought Anchor, but I had like 100,000 plays on the podcast. I would just talk about random things. It was called Mr. Virus. I was trying to be viral. I was just making very controversial, you know. I tend to do that. I'll make very controversial kind of clickbait kind of titles, like little stabs. Talking to a new friend in the Netherlands. She looks cute as hell. She shared a photo of her birthday on Goosify, and I said, "Is that you? Because if that is you, I'm like, oh my God." Joined her group, chatting a bit. I don't mind when people DM me if it's just friendly because, air signs especially. I guess that makes you an Aquarius. I love air signs; they're my favorite sign. But I have mostly fire if you look at my whole chart. But I love air signs. Also, my midheaven is Libra, and then my Venus is in the seventh house, which is Libra, and then my seventh house is Gemini, since I'm a Sag rising. What that means is, I do think I have a bit of that air sign energy sometimes. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I'll switch between fire, earth, water, air, ether. I got it all. So what is there to talk about? Yeah, freezing cold. I turned the heater to like 60. I don't want my cats to freeze or anything, but slanging and banging. How you guys doing on a Monday? Every day's the same, We're trying to have fun despite it being just a monotonous, lead gen grind. If you're gonna go full time on your business on school, well, it's a paid community or digital content or coaching. That's basically it. Or events, like a retreat or a summit. There's only four ways to monetize, guys. Or the fifth way is like influencer money, which is just like getting traffic. So I actually know a guy in Austin. He makes over six figures, guys, from a blog about aquariums. That's one of the most random things, but I'm like, dude, that's badass. So he makes money from traffic and like click ads, old school like blogger. People still read blogs about exotic fish and aquariums. So you make money off the traffic, If you're a YouTuber, you make money. I think to make six figures on YouTube, you probably need to have somewhere around like 1 million subs. I think. I don't really know. But, so it could happen eventually. It could. So that's a slow way to make money, get people into the community gradually. We got 2 new people join immediately. That was from, excuse me. What do you think you're doing? Huh? Guys, I have a problem. This cat is just too cuddly. And I wanted a cuddly cat, but this one I think is in the highest percentage of cuddliness. And it can be very distracting. Can you get your butt out of my face, please? I don't want your butt in my face. No, she's adorable. Everybody in Goosify likes Minnie. When we do the cohort calls, she'll jump all over me. She will literally not stop jumping in my lap. So, monkey. Oh, really? You think it's monkey time? Huh? But you're very cute. But you're a rascal. Look at these little mittens. Oh my God. But you're very cute. But you're very naughty. But you're very naughty. Okay, anyways. Yeah, chat. I don't mind chatting in DMs. It's just annoying when they immediately just like want to talk numbers. Like, yeah, bro, I know that's your business and you're a rocket but you'd probably be a clown if you could just calm the fuck down, chill the fuck out, dude. You know, I know you're trying to get that money. He did kind of a poaching post on Ryan's group. Ryan's group's called School Speed School Run. Ryan has a private group where he basically, I guess, helps influencers run their communities. So I think he's making like 7K a month just from his private group. So that's pretty badass. And he's in Thailand. So I was chatting with him a little bit. I said, I'm probably moving out there in June. Um, so, you know, I think it's easy to feel discouraged. All these people are like a million steps ahead of us, and they're already running ads, and they already have like thousands of people in their group, and all these funnels and shit. But it's like, bro, you have to believe in your value as a human being. You could, if you went to college and got an engineering degree or fucking tech degree, like you could make six figures working for some company 40 hours a week. You know what I mean? And, they're probably making 200K off of you and then only paying you half. So it's like, dude, each and every single one of you guys is worth more than $50 an hour. I swear to God, you are. It just takes a while to build up the relationships and then figure out what the market wants. Sometimes what we think the market wants, the market does not actually want. Sometimes we have a very unique and novel thing that we're passionate about. But maybe after a while, you get a hunch that says, well, maybe I should also talk about this thing. And then maybe that thing is what takes off like wildfire. You never know. You just keep putting it out there. Yes, traditional business, high-ticket coaching, help you make money. I know I can't help you make money, but I could find some more interesting ways to say it. Nowadays, everybody freaking wants AI. I plan on eventually developing a tech CRM tool, no different than Goosify. Well, slightly different from Goosify, not trying to compete with Goose, but like what I want is a way to open up tabs even faster. I have a plugin that lets me drag and drop a pull down menu, and then it opens all the links. I'll tell you how to get that extension if you want it, but so you can open up 30 tabs. I want it to automatically count all the posts that you're doing daily. I want it to be able to somehow track your stats without having to manually, tap the counter. And then I'm kind of using more technical words like install sales technology. But it's like, that's no different than a workflow. I figured out what N8N is. I was like, what the hell is N8N? I keep seeing it in all these, tech groups. It's just like it's like a floating like workflow. So that's all it is, a workflow of like, well, I started the conversation, and then, that's usually what a CRM is. It's just like, well, it turns into a lead. Well, it turns into the first touch, and then you track how many touches, So you don't really need that much tech. I will say there is something very interesting that I've been hearing about a lot. There's this one AI, God, I forget what it's called, but I've been seeing it pop up a lot. And I follow this one crown named Evelyn Weiss, and she was talking about it. And then I saw someone else talking about it. But, it's AI that allows you to craft, content for you. I guess sometimes AI could do, like AI probably could do half of the things that we do, but you can't fake like an interesting post. I mean, I guess you could generate viral magnets. If AI can generate viral lead magnets for me, then I will become a fan of AI and I'll start using AI. But viral lead magnets sometimes is timing. One guy said post at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and then 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's the best time to post. I'm like, dude, I post whenever I feel like it, But yeah, I mean, can we gamify or like use AI to become influencers? I mean, that would be very interesting if AI could coach me to become an influencer and make the content for me. That's what a social media manager does. Hey, I need you to make me famous on YouTube. Hey, I need you to make me famous on TikTok. I need you to tell me what to say and pick out the outfits and pick out the lighting in the background, or maybe all of it's AI. You don't even know what's real anymore. Nowadays it's so weird. There was a video on TikTok. that I thought was real, and then everyone's like, "This is totally AI." It was like a guy that rescued a cat, and it was like icy and snowing, and it turns out the cat is almost like a bobcat, like a wild cat. It grew like really big. It's called like a Mongolian something. It was really cute. And then it went out into the snow and then came back and had kittens. And it was convincingly real. And then they said, this is totally AI. These cats will never allow you to domesticate them. And I was like, it gets pretty creepy. Like, you can't even trust like surveillance cameras anymore because AI can just manufacture evidence and make it look real. So that's what's going to be kind of difficult about AI and like virtual reality in the future. Like, it's almost becoming indistinguishable from like actual, footage. Anyway, so what is it called? It's like an orange thing, AI, Claude. I think that's what it's called. You ever heard of Claude? I may look into that a little bit just out of curiosity. There's an AI clip tool called Opus Clip that I was thinking about using. It's just kind of expensive though. You have to pay for credits. So the longer the video, the more credits you have to use. But it'll clip like what it thinks is going to become viral, like short form content, and then it adds the captions and everything. All right, guys, Monday, got to hit the numbers. I'm now tracking total number of posts processed. I'll be totally honest, I still think the very best groups to join and get clients are going to be small, like less than 100 or less. I think you'll have the most intimacy and connection when the group is smaller, just because it's easier to talk to people. Once it becomes 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, you notice that the flow of the posting is all the same. Intro post, random, inspiration, or just random, like community fun. I would say it's like a third of all posts are usually like community fun posts. What are you guys doing this weekend? You know, maybe 10-20% is them sharing inspiration, like a blog. When life gets hard, I was at the brink of bankruptcy, and they just tell some story, like a Facebook kind of blog post with like a picture. The 3 things that I learned about burnout, you know what I mean? This shit like that. That's probably like half of all the content that you see. About 10% is people actually asking questions. So the posts that really pull me in are Q&A posts, intro posts sometimes if I think it's an interesting person, or I'm not going to lie, like a cute girl, that is going to pull me in. And then, sometimes the random community fun posts, but it just really depends. Like I don't know, what is it about the post that pulls me in and then makes me want to comment? I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's like an invisible feeling. I can't exactly pinpoint exactly what that feeling is. Like if we're programming AI to find these posts for me, I want you to highlight, there's 11,000 posts in Goosify. I want you to highlight and show me. This is the app that I'd like to build. I want you to highlight and show me what you think are going to be the best posts and the best people for me to engage with and connect with. That would be valuable, and I could probably charge $100 a month for that. You know what I mean? Eventually, it all kind of just becomes tech, and done for you kind of systems. I'll show you exactly how to scale your community and get your first sale. We'll do a personality dive, and we'll find you the exact matches and the people that would like that would not just be your best friends, but also be your future clients, right? I know how to sell it. That's what people want. That's what they would pay for. So maybe eventually I become bougie rich by making some kind of tech that does this for you. How do I know what I'm attracted to when I don't even necessarily know what I'm attracted to, right? I'll tell you one last thing. There should be a way of like muting a profile, like an overlay on School of like, I just don't really like this person that much, or I can tell I'm just not that interested in this person. That would be useful because then we could just hide and mute. I wish there was a way to mute all the profiles that I don't want to see. Like, oh, this person's been commenting too much and, not really into them. Or the people that churned my group. Oh, how dare you? You churned my group. I'll never comment on your post ever again. Churning is like a breakup. When you churn someone's group, you're basically saying like, I'm over it. And, It stings a bit, doesn't it? You churned me. How dare you? Dude, I'm not going to talk shit, but the first guy that left my group, that he was just saying weird shit, bro. I don't know if you're mentally like stable all there. I don't know if you're like a crazy person. He said men do not need to eat protein. Guess what? And I'm like, bro, have you ever seen any scientific studies by any top university? Do I need to show you like Harvard and fucking, Stanford and Caltech and whatever? Like, you need protein, dude. Come on, man. You took in biology. There's carbs, there's fats, and there's proteins. If you destroy your muscle fibers, why would you not eat amino acids? I don't even know, man. He leaves my group and then messages me, "Sorry, man, I'm just in too many groups. Good luck." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." I don't even care. You're weird. Okay? I don't have to be mean, but it's kind of insulting. You're a fucking weirdo arguing with me about, okay, the earth is flat and this is a simulation. You're one of those flat earth kind of people. And the second guy may be a nice guy, and a few people in my group are friends with him and are in his group, but he was just flat out rude to me. He told me my content looks bad and that I come across as needy and desperate. And I said, "You look like a bald weirdo. And I don't know if you're trying to use dark psychology tactics on me or not, but why don't you fucking can it, bozo? Shut the fuck up. You know? You don't think I know how to harvest dark energy? Okay? You don't think I know things about dark psychology? Like, watch yourself. Watch yourself. I only serve the light, but before I served the light, I probably have had past lives where I was some kind of dark lord. Okay? Um, I don't say that to freak people out, but it's just like, dude, I would not have a problem fighting someone to the death if I had to, okay? You want to come after me, then come after me, you know? You don't want to invite in, hostility and evil, but, shut the fuck up, man. You look like a clown. You probably don't make anything close to $10,000 a month. You probably get triggered by talking about high ticket sales. And I have done a $20,000 a month, and it would probably be more like 30 to 50K. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Okay? You don't think I know how to make money? Why don't you can it? Men like to challenge each other on superiority. Okay? Who's the superior man? I wake up at 6 a.m. I've lost 65 pounds. I'm excellent. I'm attractive. Women usually like me. I'm successful, socially. you know I'm getting shouted out all the time in a bunch of groups. People are including me and inviting me to the party. Are you? And what do you want to tell them? What you want to talk about? Money? You want to talk about business? You want to talk about intelligence? Because I'm a genius IQ. you know what do you want to battle me on? What do you want to battle me on? Your content's better? Okay, you have a slightly larger group, but I don't think you make that much money. Okay, people do seem to like you, but it seems like you only really attract people who are not like very confident in themselves. So, you know, this is what happens with men. They want to be the supreme, big dick. And then, I don't know if you're an alpha or not, but, when alphas get together, either they're going to fight each other or they're going to respect each other. And he was not showing me respect. He was showing me disrespect. I joined his group and he immediately starts commanding me like all these fucking guys do. He ordered me to click a Calendly link and like do a call with him as a collab call. Oh, to his call. And, I'm like, dude, you should never command anybody. Even if they join your group, you should not use command language because it's going to annoy probably 30% or 50% of people. Like direct commands annoy me. Okay? I kind of went along with it and I brushed it off, but then the second annoying command, he tags me in a post in his group and then asked me what I think. His partner was doing some workshop on like limiting beliefs. And I told him exactly what I think. He's already starting to get on my nerves because he's commanding me twice. So this is when I show him my masculine personality. I can be very confusing because you'll see my feminine personality and I'll show you my masculine personality. My masculine personality wants to come out and I challenged him a little bit, but I don't think I was rude and I don't think I was dismissing him. But I said, like, The lady was insinuating that I may still have limiting beliefs that I don't know about. Okay, yeah, I have limiting beliefs, and you're the only one that can save me, so I need to give you money to remove these blocks in me that I don't even know about. I'm like, what are we blocked on? Making money, getting fit, attracting love? Like, you don't think I can get a hot girlfriend or what? You don't think I know how to make money? You don't think I love myself? Like, what are we limited on? Am I depressed all the time? You know? Like, I think I'm pretty sound, and I think I have a pretty great life, and I think I'm making all my dreams come true. Okay, once I get famous on TikTok and YouTube and make millions of dollars, then what the fuck are you gonna tell me? You're not gonna tell me anything. What do you have to tell me? If you're gonna challenge someone in the masculine authority, you have to demonstrate why are you superior. What are you superior at than me? You have a slightly larger group and you get a bit more likes and comments, but I don't think you're making that much money. Okay, cool, man. You're popular. You're more popular than me. Okay, I think I'm better at making money than you, and I think I'm a bit better looking, and I think I'm a bit better with the ladies. Okay, that was churn number two. Just a clash of ego. I don't think he just gets along with alpha males. I like alpha males. I like alpha males that can shift into maybe not a feminine, but dude, I like alpha males. I like guys that make a lot of money. I like guys that are attractive and fit and good with girls. I want to hang out with guys who are popular, with people, period, and with women. Why would I not? It's a beta male that gets threatened by alpha males. I think a true alpha male does like other alphas so long as they're respectful. Dude, if you're ever going to become super rich, you need to learn how to get along with people, especially rich guys, especially guys who are a lot more successful than you. I'm not a millionaire. Goose makes a lot more money than me for now. You know, um, there is a multimillionaire in my group. There are guys who are better looking than me, more fit than me, better with women. I mean, why are these the metrics that we hold ourselves to? But at the same time, like in the masculine, that typically is what young men kind of value: how popular you are, how confident you are, how successful you are with women, and then eventually how successful you are with money, your social media clout. These are the vanity metrics, guys. So, anyways, and then turn number three, I don't know. He tried to pull me into his group, and I kind of just countered. I said, well, I mean, I'll join your group if you join my group. And then I think he just hates money. So it's like, well, dude, if you're a spiritual person and you hate money, you're probably not going to like being in a high ticket sales group, you know, with a very hot headed person named Benjamin who calls himself Lux, you know. Um, it makes for interesting content. You know, I'm not gonna bash you if you leave my group, but you know, I think there's a couple guys in here that are kind of annoyed with me. And it's like, I think you are arrogant. I think you think you're successful and you're not. I think when you're arrogant, you're not coachable. You want to believe that you are like successful and popular, but you're not that successful and popular. I'll admit, you know, I'm not a 9 or a 10. I'm not a model looking guy. I'd probably give myself like an 8, on a good day, maybe a 9. If I have six pack abs, maybe better. Maybe you think I'm a 6 or a 7. I don't know. I'm fine with who I am, financially. I think if you've ever made more than 20K in a month, that's probably like a 9, honestly. 20 to 30K in a month is like honestly like a 9 in my opinion. Most people will never make that much in a month. That is the top 5% income in America for every age. When you factor in a male in his 20s or 30s, that increases the percentage even more. Most guys in their 20s have never fucking made it. It takes a man a lot longer to figure out like business and like discipline. So are we comparing me to like 50 and 60 year olds? you know like I've done better than most 40, 50, and 60 year olds. you know there are guys who have been making millions of dollars in their 20s, and that's amazing, and it doesn't make me insecure. Ryan's younger than me, and he's made more money than me, and he's got more followers than me, and I would want to hang out with him. You seem like a cool guy, and you obviously know things about, community that I don't know. I'm not threatened. I'm not threatened by success. I'm not threatened by guys who are more successful than me. He's got a cute girlfriend. He seems like a winner. These are the kinds of guys I want to hang out with, man. Right? Anyways, I think it's arrogance. You think because you have a certain rank, you think you're somebody. Like, bro, You know, what's your MRR? Have you ever had a business? Have you done anything in business? No. You just think you're like popular on the internet? Okay, cool, man. I don't care. You know, maybe I'm immature. My moon sign and my Mercury is in Aries, and Aries can be a little bit of a hothead. You know, my midheaven is Libra, so that's why it's confusing because you see me. I basically constantly keep switching between like Libra and Aries energy, and then they're polar opposite signs. And then I also have a lot of Taurus and Scorpio energy. The Scorpio in me is kind of the crazy dark. I was like in my Scorpio a couple days ago. He runs on darkness and misery, but he turns it into the light. Scorpio turns the darkness into the light, you know. Scorpios are not bad people, they're just misunderstood. My mom's a Scorpio. She's a little bit crazy, but you know, you learn to love them despite their craziness, you know. They can't help it. They're plugged into like the underworld, you know. Like they're plugged into chaos and fear and chaos and paranoia, you know. Taurus, which is what I am in my sun. I'm just a chill dude, you know. I want to have good vibes, I want to have good time. I like good food, I like good sex, I like romance, you know. I like beautiful things. You know, just want to have a good time. It's the Taurus in me that does not like it when people pressure me and like DM me all the time. It's the Taurus in me, like, dude, I don't want you to send me marketing emails fucking every day, man. I don't really like it when marketers email me more than once a week. I don't even want you emailing me more than once a week, dude. And even once a week is like my limit. I don't want any text message blasts unless it is like a life fucking changing thing. You can text me like 2 or 3 times a year. I don't like text message blasts either. You know, every 3 months is acceptable. If it's really valuable, you're gonna give me a discount or give me free shit, then yeah, you can text me every like 3 or 4 months. You know, I don't like to be harassed, and I like to have the space to make my own decisions in life. So I don't know. That's just me. I got my blue pants on, so I'm just being a little bit more chatty today. But you know, I think that you have to give respect to receive respect. I think it's a sign of immaturity and like weakness as a man or a young man when you think you're somebody, but the truth is you're not shit. You know, I'm not shit. You know, I became really cocky once I started making money in my first business. I became really arrogant and the universe flattened me out. You know, yeah, sometimes I was making several thousands of dollars in a day, you know, but I became very arrogant. And God does not like arrogance. God likes humility and humbleness. You know, you have to humble yourself before the Lord. So, yeah, some other guy calls me a Padawan, young Padawan. And I'm like, okay, first of all, shut the fuck up. Second of all, I'm probably older than you. Third of all, I probably have made more money than you. Why do you guys think you're so like the expert? Why do you think you're the expert, dude? I've done better than 95% of human beings. Why do you think you're my superior? Shut up, please. Shut up, you know? I told him, I said, nah, I'm not a Padawan, I'm a Sith Lord. In other words, check yourself or you wreck yourself. Padawan, oh my god. It's like desperate to be an authority because you've probably never had authority in your life ever. Authority is not assumed. Authority and respect is earned. You have to earn somebody's respect, you know? I'm not really a leader in the sense of like, you know, some of you guys have groups and you're like a leader kind of person. I'm not really like a leader kind of person. I'm like a pirate. I'm more like Jack Sparrow. You know, I'm just more like the leader of the renegades. You know, like I don't need to tell you. I don't need like order. Do you know what I mean? I don't rule like a king or something. I am more like a captain. I don't want to be the king. I don't want to be a king. I don't want to have that kind of a responsibility. And I don't even want to be the CEO. I prefer to kind of be like the mastermind. Like I would rather hire a CEO and defer all the managerial stuff to that guy. I need a guy or a woman who is like a is that kind of take charge kind of leader and like really does enjoy leading the pack and they really love like meetings and organization and shit. Like I need my Layla. Alex is more like the mastermind in my opinion. Layla is like the CEO. I need to find my Layla. But you know, I personally don't really want to be a leader. You know, yeah, this is my group, but I don't ever want you guys to feel like I am ever telling you to do anything because I hate being told what to do. I'm anti-leader, you know? I'm a visionary, I'm a revolutionary, and I'm an anti-leader. You can lead yourself, you know? You don't need someone to tell you what to do. If the group's not fun and the group's not interesting or at least energizing, then it's going to be boring. So that's the number one thing, guys. Please don't be boring. I have gone through thousands of posts on School by now, probably over 10,000, maybe even closer to 20,000 posts now. And I can tell you, I mean, God, just don't be boring, you know? You got to learn how to be interesting and say interesting things. And if it's a group that you want to participate in regularly, there's only about three groups that I've found to be really worth kind of farming. First one is Goosify. That's what I'm going through every post. Second one is School Speed Run. I think I like Ryan. I think like I would hang out with Ryan if we didn't even know we were on school. I think I would enjoy a guy like Ryan. You know, Ryan Duncan over at School Speed Run. And then the third one is like a promote your business kind of group, but she's like kind of a healer kind of person. She's more of like a women's leader, but more of a facilitator. Like I like those kinds of women. They don't have to be like the boss. They don't have to be like the authority. You know, why do you have to be like the boss on the fucking internet, you know? Like I don't know, man. So what kind of a leader are you? Are you a renegade? Are you a captain? Are you a commander? Sometimes I'm a commander, but I just want you guys to understand I'm just driving the energy and then anybody who wants to like run with me, I'm just running. I'm just running up the mountain. You know, I don't need you guys to follow me if you want to. If you guys want to run together, let's run together, you know? Let's blitz, let's do a mastermind, but it doesn't bother. I don't mind being alone. I don't mind being the lone wolf, you know? So I'm kind of more like the pioneer, kind of renegade, you know. I don't necessarily even want to be the leader. I don't want to be the CEO. I don't want to be the king or the ruler, you know. I am like a pirate captain. We're tuning into the Pirates of the Caribbean for inspiration. I am more like the leader of the misfits, and if anybody wants to run with me, we can run. You know, in my personal life, I probably am more like a commander, but that's if I had like employees and I'm paying them, then it's like, yes, then we expect results, you know. So in my inner life and like if money is involved, then I kind of am more, I'm not even a leader, I'm more of a controller. I like to have control in my life. But, you know, who wants to be controlled? I don't. I don't want to be controlled unless they've proven to me that I like them and I trust them and I feel that they're a nice person, then I don't mind if they make commands. But I literally cannot stand it when people try to tell me, you know, make sure to do this. Oh, make sure to fucking eat it, you know. Make sure to do this. Why don't you make sure to kiss my ass, dude? I don't know who the fuck you are. All right. Anyways, that's my video for today. I'll try to make 100 minutes of content every day, but I don't really know what I would say other than make these kind of longer kind of vlogs. All right, monkey, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.